buckle up, because we're about to go deep on a Serie A match that on the surface might not seem all that remarkable. But believe me when I say this Inter Milan versus Cagliari game, it was a total nail-biter.
Yeah.
And packed with some serious implications for the top of the table.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the standings going into it, you had Inter, the reigning champs, riding 11-game unbeaten streak, and Cagliari, well, they're fighting tooth and nail to stay out of the relegation zone.
Exactly. And that's why this game, you'd think would be a foregone conclusion.
Right.
It was anything but.
Yeah, it definitely had some twists and turns.
So let's set the scene. Okay,
Yeah.
Inter Milan, Cagliari, these two clubs clash. First half wraps up. What's the score?
It's 0-0, a scoreless draw at the half.
Okay. Now for Cagliari, that's almost a victory in itself.
Almost, right. They're known for trailing at halftime. More often than not, they're playing catch-up. But here's the kicker. Inter, they haven't been behind at the break all season long. The only team in Serie A to boast that stat. So to see them held scoreless for an entire half, well, it definitely raised some eyebrows.
It really did. I mean, were there any close calls? Like, was there any moments where you're like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah. There was this one play where Lautaro Martínez, he nearly found the back of the net, like just barely missed. And then you had Simone Scafé, Cagliari's goalkeeper, pulling off this unbelievable save against Niccolò Barella.
Yeah.
These moments, they really cranked up the tension on the pitch. You could practically feel Inter's frustration mounting.
And so it sets the stage for this, what feels like a totally different game in the second half.
Yeah, it's like someone flipped a switch, right? The energy completely shifted. Second half kicks off, and boom, Alessandro Bastoni puts Inter on the board.
Beautiful goal, right?
Oh, it was a beauty. Assisted by, no surprise here, Niccolò Barella.
Of course.
He was all over the pitch, that guy.
He was everywhere. And then, of course, we got to talk about Lautaro Martínez.
Ah, yes. This wasn't just any goal for him, was it?
No. You were really keyed in on this one before we started recording, so let's talk about it. What happened?
So Martínez finds the back of the net. And this goal, it's his 10th goal against Cagliari.
Wow.
Think about that for a second. Cagliari, they are officially his favorite opponent to score on in all of Serie A.
Wow.
10 goals. I mean, you could chalk it up to coincidence, sure, but I think there's something more at play here. When you watch the game, you see Cagliari's defensive style seems to play right into Martinez's hands. Like, they tend to employ this high defensive line, which opens up space behind them, perfect for a player with Martinez's speed and agility.
Interesting. So it's almost like a tactical advantage for him baked right into their game plan. Unintentionally, of course.
Exactly. It's a fascinating thing to consider. Obviously, we've got to give credit where credit is due. Martinez's skill and his finishing ability are top-notch. But the tactical matchup, it definitely plays a part. And on a psychological level, knowing he's consistently scored against them in the past, I bet that gives him a mental edge.
It's gotta, right.
It's gotta. You walk onto that pitch knowing you've got their number, so to speak. It's like he can smell the goal coming.
I love that. And then to make matters even worse for Cagliari, you have the handball in the box.
Ah, yes. Matej Swiateska gets called for it.
Yeah.
Penalty kick awarded to Inter. Hakan Çalhanoğlu steps up to take it, and boom.
Calm, cool, and collected.
Right in the back of the net.
Game over.
Game over. So this victory, this decisive victory, catapults Inter to the top of the Serie A table.
Oh, yeah, no question. And their last loss. Ancient history at this point.
When was it? Remind me.
September. A derby loss to AC Milan. Since then, it's been victory after victory.
Wow. Talk about save and win. This match wasn't just about the 3 points. It was a declaration. They're here to claim another Scudetto.
And Cagliari, what does this mean for them?
This loss, unfortunately, extends their losing streak to 5 games. Their worst run since February. They are firmly stuck in that relegation zone. And honestly, this match highlighted the huge gap in quality between the teams at the top of Serie A and those battling to stay in it.
Yeah, I mean, really high stakes for both sides here. Inter, soaring high, aiming for another title. Cagliari, in a desperate fight for survival.
Absolutely. And when you look at Cagliari's performance, those defensive vulnerabilities, especially against someone like Martinez, they're a major concern moving forward. And when you see Inter's dominance, you have to wonder, can anyone really challenge them? They look unstoppable right now.
Yeah, a lot to ponder, right? As we wrap up this deep dive, can Cagliari turn things around? What needs to happen? Can anyone step up and challenge Inter?
Big questions, lots to think about.
A lot to think about.